Well, actually, all M5s have always been fantastic. There's never been a bad one.
No, there hasn't. There's a lot on this as well, a lot of equipment. It's got a rear-view camera. It's also got a multimedia system that can bring up Facebook and Twitter.
I don't want one anymore.
Now, why would you want that on your dashboard? You're driving up the A1. Oh, look, Lily Allen's having sardines in Notting Hill. That's interesting. It's not relevant.
Is that necessary? I mean, do fighter pilots have Twitter on their dashboard?
Yes.
I'm locked onto target, I'm committed. Oh, hang on a second, Stephen Fry's just said something brainy about a play. Hold on. You don't need the...
I really do think we get too much information when we're driving around now. I mean, those signs that say spray possible, which on a nice day in June, it isn't. And you know those posters, OK, that used to be adverts that said drink food and eat beer or whatever it is.
Toothpaste.
On them. Yeah, use toothpaste. Well, now they've made them electronic, and Sky News has got one, and it gives you snippets of news as you drive by. Now, I was driving past one the other day. It'd be OK if it was short, but it's quite long. So you're going, J.K. Rowling, Saks agent, after... Where are you going?
That's funny, I was driving down the A40 just after you the other day, and the headline was quite brief. It said, Clarkson has massive accident.
Now, that's a good question.
Have you put it in the Chippy Norton news?
No, because it suddenly occurred to me.
Social media.
Social media. Twitter, I've got 7.1 million
Fucking hell.
followers.
What do you do on Twitter? I don't use Twitter.
Nothing, it's just... Twitter now is just an opportunity for very left-wing people to express increasingly left-wing views to other left-wing people. So I'm not sure it's a farm shop. Hey, but it's all vegetarian, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, yeah.
Yes, you see, that's a Twitter handle.
Everything's going vegan.
That's a Twitter handle. Oh, Christ, we'll have them with their smelly armpits queuing up for a mile if we say that.
But don't get bogged down in that. The big question is, do you make it with cream or do you not make it with cream? Now, I've always said you don't use cream in a carbonara, but in the interest of research, I did a Twitter survey, and the results are 28% of people say add cream, 25% of people say don't add cream, and 47% of people say just have a pizza.
However, he made me a vinegar ice cream.
Sounds like a GCSE lesson where they learn about conjunctions. I am happily married. However, I've just been on Twitter and no, I'm not.
Now, you join me at a slightly awkward moment because after our very enlightening walk in the mountains, I thought Master Hoshino said, would you like to join me in the bar? It was the bath. More specifically, an onsen, which is a specific type of bath. The definition, in fact, has been protected under Japanese law since 1948. To qualify as an onsen, it must be the product of volcanic activity. It must be geothermally heated to at least 25 degrees. I'm delighted to say this is rather more than that. And it must contain traces of 18 minerals. If you were wondering, and to save you starting a rather tedious thread on Twitter, yes, we are completely naked. And the reason I have the small towel on my head is not because I'm celebrating the British seaside holiday of the 1950s. It's because this little scrap is what I use to hide my vile body, as Evelyn Waugh would have put it, when I climb out. The cameras will be cut by then, not because I'm embarrassed, for your sake. And I'm embarrassed. If you're one of those amateur electronics enthusiasts or even a professional electrical engineering type person, this is the point where you go on to Twitter and complain about my soldering. So just do it now. I'll do it for you if you want. You need to say something like, I didn't think much of James May's soldering, and why did he dip the end of the iron in the flux? Ha! Now get out of this one. It's not on at the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
I just need to clear one thing up. You have got someone from our production office with you right now checking you're not Googling the answer, yes?
I have, yes.
You have, good. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Twitter. I've got to move on to this thing, because you are a big fan of Twitter.
Yes.
I was reading your Twitter thing the other day when you said you'd got from Norwich to London in a time that was impossible if you hadn't driven in bus lanes.
Yes, all right. I didn't say that. I didn't say that was impossible if I hadn't driven in bus lanes, but others said, so you must have driven in bus lanes. And obviously, it is illegal for me to drive in bus lanes.
Even though you do drive a London taxi.
I do drive a London taxi.
And you sit and thinking, I'm not going to go in that bus lane.
Sometimes you read that thing, it says from 7 till something, and you think, oh, well, that must be now.
My favourite is, as you drive down here, you'll probably see it on your way home. In Guildford, it said there's a bus lane.
Yeah.
And it says, buses and good vehicles only. In my mind, it says goods, but in my mind, and I just think, this is a Mercedes, it's a good car, and so I could be at the track hours faster than everybody else.
It's like ones that say access only. I want access through it.
Yes, but no, going back to Twitter, I'm fascinated that you find the time to do that, because everything you ever do, you tell 500,000 people are now following you.
Yes, it has become rather a large number. Obviously, when it started, it was a few thousand, and grown, and now everybody knows about it.
I don't Twitter, obviously, but the thing we do share is a love of a specific type of mobile telephone.
Yes, we stroke it, we fondle it, we love it. It has applications that are quite astonishing.
And how do you get on with Twitter these days? Do you enjoy Twitter, or is...
Sometimes it has moods, have you noticed that?
Yeah, massively.
Sometimes people can be it's all very pleasant and lovely, and you pick up some little bon mots, and some people have funny things to say, and then all of a sudden one day, everybody's foul. utterly foul and rude and awful, and you just say, what's got into you lot?
But you must be a sitting target. There's been so many people bombarding you every day with ideas for the show.
Don't really get that so much. It's when's Top Gear coming back, all spelt wrong. That's basically my Twitter feed. The thing is, what if you just won on Twitter? It's something, the best Twitterer of the best comebacks from the chap over there with windswept hair. I mean, I've actually got a few of your ones here. Do they take a long time to think of?
I would say I'm spontaneous with it, but I might be lying.
Because, I mean, somebody said here, why have you only got 200,000 followers? And you replied, Jesus only needed 12. You've got to admit... I mean, they are properly very funny. James Blunt has an annoying face and a highly irritating voice, and you went, yes, and no mortgage. Do you mind if I show them my absolute favourite? The rather sarky, whatever happened to James Blunt? And this was the picture you posted. What I love about you is the way that somebody is abusive to you and you just take it on the chin and I sob uncontrollably.
Right. I mean, people take Twitter far too seriously. It's just, you know, there's a real world out there, isn't there? And people seem to think that Twitter is important. It's just people's opinions, and opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.